Hello everyone! Today's video is going to be a throwback Thursday, and this palette is probably one of the oldest palettes that are in my collection, and it is the ABH Norvina palette, and you can see the discoloring along the edges, and because it is that felt texture that ABH used to love so much. This used to be one of my favorite palettes in my collection. It is one of the oldest palettes in my collection, but it just does not get used, and I believe this video will be the first time that I've used this palette all year. Also, I'm thinking about doing kind of like a palette chopping block series next year on my channel, and this would be certainly one of them. It is one of those palettes that it does not really bring me excitement. Like, do I really want to use this today? Not really, but it is a palette that is an older one in my collection, and it definitely should be used. So this is what mine looks like. I currently have 3 pans and 3 of the shimmers, and I do have some dips in some of the mattes, if you can tell on camera, and I don't really know kind of the vibe I want to go with this. Part of me kind of wants to use Dazzling just because I am so close to pan, and it would be awesome if I could hit that. Another thing that kind of irks me the wrong way is, I don't know if you can tell in the shade down here, but the pan itself has some dark discoloring because the air has touched it, and that kind of just like icks me out just a little bit, but I can certainly still use all the shadow that is around. Another thing with ABH is these shimmers and mattes are just not, I guess, up to par from what we normally use in today's standards, especially in comparison to like indie eyeshadows. And back when ABH was at its prime, like this was a really nice formula in terms of things that you could get at Sephora and Ulta. And I'm thinking I'm gonna go into Love a little bit. I might go into Passion, and I would like to see if I could hit pan on Dazzling. These shadows are extremely soft. It is like a rose gold situation, and Wild Child also is very, very soft. All these shadows are very, very soft, but like they just don't really pack much of a punch. I just remember when the ABH palette came out and I wanted it so bad, and a lot of people gave a lot of crap because like it's supposed to be purple and there is maybe 2 purples in it and they're not even the same tones. So a lot of people were very upset about the lack of purple in this palette. But when this palette first came out, and then I went to Ulta with my best friend at the time, and then I was just swatching these, and I thought, oh my god, these are so buttery, they are so smooth, they're gonna look so beautiful in the eyes. And then I got this palette when it went 50% off in an Ulta 25 Days of Beauty sale, I do believe. And at the time, Sarah Rose here on YouTube, who still has this palette, still uses it a lot. And I think she has pan on like every shimmer and a matte or 2, or she has pan in a good chunk of the palette. I remember when I bought it, she did her like multiple looks, one palette video with this, and I was just like in love. Like this palette had a chokehold on me for a very, very long time. And this palette is still pretty. I do really like it. It's just that in comparison to all my other palettes up here on my bookshelf, it just really doesn't stand a chance. Hopefully in today's video, it kind of maybe sparks my love for it a little bit more. And maybe when I do my chopping block series, I do a few looks with this and I'm like, okay, maybe I do really like this palette and I do want to keep it. Do any of you guys still have any of the OG ABH palettes? Do you guys have, and like this is quite pigmented, I did not grab that much, and this is a very, very fluffy brush, but do you guys have any of the OG ABH palettes? Do you guys still use them and love them? Does anyone have the ABH Modern Renaissance? I remember at the time, the 3 that had a chokehold on me personally was these 3 OG palettes. Pretty much any of the Urban Decay Naked palettes, they were just way too expensive for me at the time. Then I had the Lorac Pro, oh no, there was 4. Lorac Pro, which I did buy and I used that to death. It was my Pan That palette in 2018, and that one was just cheaper on the market, but Lorac Formula is amazing, by the way. And then we had the Too Faced chocolate bar, which my sister actually had that, so I have used it. It's just some of the colors were not kind of my taste, I guess. And then the ABH Modern Renaissance, and ABH was, if I remember correctly, on the more affordable end of all the high-end palettes at the time, but ABH was one of the, I guess, more accessible ones in terms of price for me. It's just that Modern Renaissance at the time was really different than what we were all really used to, which were these neutral eyeshadow palettes and cool neutrals especially. And Modern Renaissance just scared me when it first came out, and that is really due to a lack of experience. Like, it would have been so pigmented that I would not know what to do with it. So I never picked it up, but you know, I would see plenty of people use it. Really wanted the, what was it? It was in the black packaging. It was a very limited edition. I think it was Prism or something. I will put a picture on the screen there for you, but it was like the Prism palette. I really like that one neon shade. Like, I really wanted that palette from ABH, but again, price wise and, you know, accessibility for me was not there at the time. I was in high school, and at the time I had a friend who was starting to get into a YouTube channel, and she made like 5 videos or something like that, and then stopped doing it altogether, which I always think back because we always talked together about making not doing a YouTube together, but talked about making channels for ourselves. And then she made a couple videos and just never done anything with it after that. But she had a friend who had like all of these palettes. I don't know what type of money she had, but she had like all of these palettes, and she had the Prism palette, and she was selling them on Instagram or something, and I so close bought that palette from her, but I never did. For Passion being one of the darkest shades in the palette, I really don't think it is all that dark. I wonder if I put Volatile on it as well. Maybe different tones will deepen up. Yeah, I think that works. I was so close to buying that. And I'm not friends with that person that made a YouTube channel back then. And actually, she was the first person that ever introduced me to any sort of indie brand, because she had, oh, what was that called? It was a rainbow palette, and on the front cover had like a lion or a tiger or something. I will put a picture on the screen. She bought that palette and she was using it, making quite a bit of videos with it. And I have never known any sort of indie brand at that time. And it was just like crazy to me. And she was a crazy Jaclyn Hill fan. I never was into Jaclyn Hill, and I'm glad I never was. She had all the Jaclyn Hill stuff, and I am sure she probably would have bought in the Jaclyn Hill makeup that she actually came out with later. I just think it's so funny to me, because back in high school, I'm like, I could never make a channel. Like, my mom would not allow it. But she was like made a few videos, and I thought like, oh, it would be so cool to have a YouTube channel and talk about my love for beauty and makeup. And at the time, it was primarily all just drugstore. And I think about that person. I mean, I have her on some social media now, but I still think about that friend that I used to have and kind of where she's at. And like the photos that she posts and stuff, like she has some makeup on. Like, I can tell she has some makeup on, but it's not anything really colorful. It's not anything really dramatic. So I really don't think she likes the makeup like she used to like the makeup. I don't know. When I think about my own YouTube channel, I think about her a lot. Like, if she, I guess, would be proud of my channel and the consistency that I've had. I don't know. part of me thinks, like, what if she knew about my channel? Does she even still like makeup anymore? I really don't talk to anybody from high school. Let me know if you are like mid-20s, later, like how many friends from high school do you still have? Do you still talk to them? Like, of course, like, I'm Facebook friends with these people, but I don't talk to them. I don't hang out with them. And a lot of them don't even use Facebook that much. But do you guys still have friends from high school? I would love to know. Well, part of my problem was, like, I was in and out of different friendships along the way. So, like, I was friends with this person who had made a YouTube channel for off and on X amount of years. And then after high school, like, we just forgot about each other. And like, then I had, like, my bestest friend in the whole world for many, many years. And then she kind of ditched me and did her own thing. I think about her all the time, too. I can't get over stuff. I think about her all the time, too. There's a lot of people who, like, I had really good acquaintances with. You know, you talk to them and do things with them in school because you're together all the time. It's not someone who I did things outside of school with all the time, but, like, slept over at her house, and I've met her parents and stuff like that. So, like, I think about those people, you know, the people who I've had, like, some pretty decent acquaintance friendships, and I don't know what they're doing right now. I really don't. I don't know their relationship status. I don't know if they have pets. Half the time I don't know if they have kids. I don't know anything about them. They're a complete stranger at this point. Part of me just wants to put Wild Child all over the lid because it kind of goes with the pink vibe that I got going on. Like, for a normal shimmer, it looks really pretty. Like, I have really only kept up with one friend from high school, and it really is like one friend from birth because I am 18 or 19 days older than her, and we have just always been friends. Our moms work together, and I'm gonna go and see her today, actually, which is kind of what prompted all this talk. Like, how many people from high school do you still, like, connect with and talk to and stuff? And I feel like people connect more, like, when they have children, which is not in the space that I'm in. But I feel like more people connect as they have children because their children do play dates, and then, like, they have a reason to go and see each other, which I personally find quite sad. Like, the friend that I am seeing today, she does have a child. Like, at the end of the day, like, she is my friend, and I want to see her. Like, if I were to have a child that was around the same age, I am certain we would see each other more often because we would have an external reason to see each other. But, like, as an adult, it is so sad that we don't just, like, hang out with a friend anymore. Like, you have to have an external reason. Oh, we have kids the same age, so our kids play together. The kid is the reason why you're still hanging out and talking to this person. I think really it's sad that we have that sort of mentality with adult friendships. And this is coming from someone who doesn't really have any adult friendships. And I feel some days like my only friends is my fiance because, you know, he is my best friend. And then other days I feel like my only friend is my sister because we just have that long-lasting bonding. But, you know, then I have, like, a really good friend from work, and I have a really good friend from previous job. And, like, you bonded together because you worked with them. You were with them every day. You had the same struggles. You had the same, like, demeanor and everything because you were in the same workplace. And then I don't work with either of those two friends anymore. And it becomes very difficult for me to kind of, it's become very, I don't want to say easy to forget about them because that is not what I'm trying to state. But because I'm not with them every day, like, you do kind of forget about them. And the one friend that I have had for the last, like, 6 years or so from a previous job, like, I try and make an effort to call her I used to do it on a weekly basis, but now I kind of do it on an every other week basis. Like, I go to her house and we just sit and chit chat about certain things. And she is significantly older than me, so like she feels like my mom. Like, she is a little older than my mom, but like she feels like my mom. And then my other friend, who I've been friends with for the past like 3 years, our friendship has strengthened past like coworker friendship. And like, I've gone to her house, I know about her family history and all that good drama. And like, she's been to my house. We have done a lot of things for each other's like milestones and stuff. I have those friendships. I talk to these people on a regular basis, on a semi-regular basis, and we talk about stuff that is no longer work related because we're not coworkers anymore. I don't have children. My one friend doesn't have children. Like, we don't have children as a reason to come together. We come together because we want to hang out with each other. And that was the person that I went to coffee with after my one video. Like, we went and got coffee. We chit-chatted at the coffee shop. We went to a chocolate, like, it's not factory, it's like a chocolate store. And we picked out some chocolate and we just stood on the side of the road and just chit-chatted a little bit and went our separate ways. Like, we see each other because we miss each other. Like, why don't more adult friendships act that way? Like, I just think of my fiance and all his friends. All of his friends came from the same workplace, and at this point none of them work at this workplace anymore. They're all so close. I'm filming this as a bunch of him and his buddies are going to a cabin for the weekend just because they miss each other. They want to do things with each other. They want to go somewhere and act like idiots with each other. So be it. But like, they come together and they do things just because they want to hang out with each other. They like talking to each other. Like, at this point in the game, they've been friends for so long. They talk about way more stuff than just like work related things. Like, he comes home and gives me like vague topics of things they've talked about. And in their job, like, they talk to each other all day, like on the phone. And they talk about the randomest things, and it gets so deep. Like, the man's conversations are so deep, it baffles my mind. But if you're talking to these people this long, that makes sense. But we do cookouts and stuff. Some of them have children, some of them are currently pregnant, and I see a future where you don't come together just because your kids play with each other. You come together because you miss your friends and you want to hang out with them and you want to talk to them. Like, part of me is very jealous. That one, I don't have a good group of friends who all know each other. All of my friends are from one-off places. Like, I have one from childhood. I have one when I worked at this place. I have one when I worked at this other place. Like, none of them know each other. I'm kind of jealous of my fiance, who has this core group of friends who originated from one place, but now none of them work in that place. And like, they're all such good friends. They all get along pretty well together. You know, they have inside jokes, they have all this, they hang out together as one big group. And like, you have a community. If you have an issue, you can talk to multiple people pretty much at the same time. And I don't have that. And I feel like a lot of women across the board don't have that. And I don't know what that's about. But I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on that adult friendship model down below. I just kind of wanted to rant and rave about that for a little bit as I was doing my eyeshadow. But I did my eyeshadow and then I did my eyeliner. But I'm going to come back with the rest of my face done for the final look and to close this video out. I shall see you in a second. This here is the finished and final look, and I'm honestly quite happy about it. And this palette still blends really, really nicely. It still performs really, really nicely. If I really wanted some extra pop or something, I would put maybe a more iridescent indie shade on top of the shimmer to kind of give it a little bit more life, a little bit more pizzazz. And then in this Norvina palette, this is what I did. So I used Love in the crease. I used Passion in the outer corner. I attempted to deepen it up a little bit with Volatile And I used base a little bit when I was blending out Love and I was getting a little all over the place. I used Love a little bit to kind of tone her down. And then I used Wild Child all over the lid, and then I used Dreamer on the inner corner. I think another reason about this palette that I feel so iffy about it is because I do like all the mattes, except for maybe Soul. I do like all the mattes and the colors of all the mattes, but I'm not always so keen about all these shimmer shades. Like, I was so indifferent about Rose Gold and Dazzling. They're just shades that I don't really use very much. Drama is something that I really would only use either on the outer lid or on the lower lash line. And like Summer is a true gold. I'm not a true gold sort of fan. So this palette is still going to stay in my collection at least for the remainder of this year. And it'll be on a chopping block series hopefully next year. I hope that I can film that and do that sort of video style next year going through my palettes. But this is a palette that I needed to get out. I needed to do a look with it, at least one, so I can say that I have used it this year. And this is a look. I'm not mad about it. You guys know how much I love pink eyeshadow, so this is no stranger to me. And I was looking on my Instagram, like the last like 3 or 4 looks that I've done have all been pink. So you guys know I just love pink eyeshadow. This is my thing. I really enjoy it. And if you have the ABH Norvina palette, I highly recommend you pull it out, get some use on it. Let me know about your adult friendship demeanor and your thoughts and opinions on it, what kind happens in your life. It is very, very fascinating to me as I am entering into my mid and late 20s, kind of how I treat friendships, because I really don't have many, and kind of how I could possibly change that and all those good things. So I would love to hear your thoughts down below. And while you're already down there, I recommend you subscribe if you enjoy makeup related content, project panning, eyeshadow focused content using collection that you have. I highly recommend you subscribe, like this video. There is a hype button. It does help the channel out quite a bit, so make sure you hit that hype button. And I love and appreciate all you guys for being here and being my friends. I am very appreciative of you, and I shall see you guys next time.